right? And now this is making sense. You might have steered off path. You might have been going into your promised land. The Lord might have had you sitting in a temporary holding space, right, to keep you safe from certain things as he was transitioning you into your promised land. But you wanted to maybe lean on your own understanding and move outside of God and not trust what he had said. So things might have hit the fan for you. So, like, things might have started getting a little bit crazy, might have started losing certain things, had a loss happen, financial loss, a loss of a car, a loss of a home, loss of provision, right? Because you moved outside of where God told you to stay, right? And it says, so here goes the storm, okay? The storm. Then a good wind began to blow from the south, okay? The men on the and look, south wind actually represents revival, warmth, and prosperity. It represents Holy Spirit moving, right? Representing a sudden and transformative shift in one's life. So, this is the wind that we wanted, and now we have it. So now they're like, yeah, this is what we wanted. Now we're starting to get somewhere, right? So they pulled up the anchor. They started to sail very close to the island, right? But then a very strong wind named the Northeaster came from the island. This wind took the ship and just carried it away. So they were almost into their promised land. They were almost into this promised space, right, where they wanted to go. However, right before they got there, boom, this wind comes and just carries them away. You might have been right there at it, but because you leaned on your own understanding and moved ahead of God and moved on your own understanding, right? Here comes destruction. Here comes this northeast wind and just blows you completely away from where God was about to place you. You were this close, right? Everything started to fall apart. And you were like, dang, if only I would have just stayed. Now you feel like you're thrown back into the wilderness, right? Now, the ship could not sail against it. So we stopped trying and let the wind just blow us. So they started, at first they were trying to correct their wrongs, right? They were trying to fight against this, but then they just kind of gave up and just allowed everything to hit the fan, right? To just put it plainly, and just allowed it to happen. What else can you do, right? They were warned. So we went below a small island named Kuda. I don't know. Kauda. I really don't know, y'all. Then we were able to bring in the lifeboat, but it was very hard to do. After the men took the lifeboat in, they tied ropes around the ship to hold it together. The men were afraid that the ship would hit the sandbanks. They lowered the sail and let the wind carry the ship. The next day, the storm was blowing us so hard that the men threw out some of the cargo. Boom. There goes certain things, right? There goes the ejection of the lady into the water in my dream. She's just thrown straight into the water, lifeless, right? Thrown out of the boat, ejected. That's when the loss starts happening. A day later, they threw out the ship's equipment. For many days, they could not see the sun or the stars. It was they couldn't see anything. It was just a stir up, right, of things. The storm was very bad. It was just a very bad, rough storm, right? We lost all hope of staying alive. We thought we would die. So maybe that's how you felt, because now you're in the midst of this storm. Everything's rocky. You're losing things. Like, things are hitting the fan. Crap's hitting the fan, right, for you. You start to lose all hope. Like, you think it's hopeless at this point. I'm just meant for death, right? Like, everything, maybe I'm just not meant to have all these things. Maybe I'm just meant to live this way, right? And losing all hope. The men had gone without food for a long time, right? Maybe you've gone without provision and such for a while. It says, then one day Paul stood up before them and said, men, I told you not to leave. You should have listened to me. Then you would have not have all this trouble and loss. The Lord's like, if you would have trusted me, if you would have listened to me, then this wouldn't have all happened. Now, this may not even be you. This could even be someone else, like your spouse, right? Now, even in this judgment that's coming, they're not included in this. They've had their judgment from the Lord. They're not going to be included. They're going to be included in the blessings with you. Your blessed era that's coming. Y'all will experience this blessed era, right? But this right here was part of their disobedience, right? Blessings for disobedience, blessings for obedience, curses for disobedience. They went through this bit of judgment, right? Where things were looking crazy. They were having losses and all of this stuff. Whatever was keeping them afloat, the Lord stripped it, and then they just drowned. It felt like they were, the waters was above their head, right? So this may not even be you. This could just be speaking on your spouse potentially, right? And it's like, you might have warned them, this, and this is going to happen if you don't do X, Y, if you don't listen, right? So I don't know, but this may speak to you too. You could have been this person. It could be both. I don't know. He says, but now I tell you to cheer up. Here's the good news. And this is actually crazy because the Lord spoke to me and had told me my spouse would be receiving good news. And at the time I thought it was like, oh, it won't be. No, it's good news from the Lord. It's good news from the Lord. And this could even be for you too. Like I said, whoever it is in this situation, the Lord is about to give you some good news. And that good news is that the storm is over. The storm is over. He says, none of you will die, but the ship will be lost. So the ship will be gone. Your transportation, your old vehicle, right? It's going to be gone, but you will live. And there is a new day coming. Last night, an angel of God came to me. This is the God I worship, and I am his. God's angel said, Paul, do not be afraid. You must stand before Caesar, and God has given you this promise. He will save the lives of all the men sailing with you. So men, be cheerful. I trust in God. Everything will happen as the angel told me, but we will crash on an island. On the 14th night, we were floating in the, some sea. The sailors thought we were close to land. They threw a rope in the water with a weight on the end of it. They found out that the water was 120 feet deep. They went a little farther and threw the rope in again. It was 90 feet deep. The sailors were afraid that we would hit the rocks, so we threw 4 anchors into the water, and they prayed for daylight to come. Some of the sailors wanted to leave the ship, and they lowered the lifeboat. These sailors wanted the other men to think that they were throwing more anchors from the front of the ship. But Paul told the officer and the other sailors, if these men do not stay in the ship, your lives cannot be saved. So the soldiers cut the rocks and let the lifeboat fall in. So if these men do not stay in the ship, your lives cannot be saved. I don't know why that's speaking to me. Your obedience and your walk is what's going to save your life and your spouse's. They mirror you, and that's another topic. They mirror you in the spirit. You mirror each other. So, if you are doing what is right, not living in sin, and cleansing and purifying yourself daily, okay? And that's in this word that I'm about to read, I believe. Yes. Then they will follow. And I'm about to speak on something that I really don't want to speak about, but I have to be obedient because someone needs to hear it. And it's revelation that me and my friend have received as of recently. So, here's the topic of like masturbation, for example. If you are struggling with that and you have not been delivered from it and you are still doing it, I don't care if it's once a month, once every 2 months, anytime that is done, lust is entertained. Even this could even go as simple as just entertaining lustful thoughts in your mind, acting on anything in that sense. You are opening a door for the enemy to come in and have his way. Okay? So, if you are doing that, but your spouse is struggling with lust, you are keeping the door open for the enemy. You are giving the enemy access to come in and keep itself attached to your spouse that the Lord is trying to deliver your spouse from. You might be wondering why you haven't received your promise yet. You might be wondering why this person is still struggling with certain things, and it could be you. Because they mirror you in the spirit. If it is your true God-ordained spouse, this is not for those that just idolize kingdom marriage and may not even be standing for someone that the Lord promised them. This is for those that it is your true God-ordained spouse. And you still see them over there struggling with lust, but you're over here keeping a door open, right? But the Lord wants to deliver them from it, but do you get what I'm saying? That's how deep it is. So, it is so important right now that you, and I'll get into it. I'm gonna circle back to this. But that's what that just spoke to me. If these men do not stay in the ship, your lives cannot be saved. Your spouses mirror you, and you mirror them. And so there are some things that you could do that could end up messing things up on their end, right? Just as the same, if they open door to sin, then that opens the door to you as well. Be very careful what you're doing and mindful of what you're doing and what you're speaking. It is crucial, especially for your spouse's sake too. Just before dawn, Peter began persuading all the people to eat something. He said, "For the past 14 days you have been waiting and watching. You have not eaten. Now I beg you to eat something. You need it to stay alive." You need it to stay alive. None of you will lose even one hair off of your heads. After he said this, Paul took some bread and thanked God for it before all of them. He broke off a piece and began eating. All of the men felt better, right? They all started eating too. There were 276 people on the ship. We ate all we wanted, and then we began making the ship lighter by throwing the grain into the sea. So, the Lord still came through for them. Although they ended up moving, into stepping ahead of God, right? They were disobedient in that sense. They moved ahead of God. They leaned on their own understanding. The Lord was still gracious and did what he promised, right? Now, the title of this word, this summer will be different. Happy place. I even got an email this morning that said, "Ready, set, summer." It says, look again. And Dinah just posted a video today or yesterday or today, that literally said, look again. Like, there has been a shift. Look again. It's all tying in together. Look again. You are rolling into this full circle moment. Now, going back to even the storm, okay? So my dream, it was like we were cruising on this boat, me and my mom and my dad, which represents Holy Spirit and the Father. My stepdad was driving the boat. God was steering this thing the whole time, right? And I saw the lady that had ejected. She was laying in the water. She was dead. That represents like what I explained in the beginning of this video, or at some point in this video, right? And then we're cruising, right? And we go out into the ocean. And then we're going against the waves. And so it was like and then the Lord just took off full speed. And I was thinking in my head, oh my God, like this is so dangerous. Like what, we're gonna flip or something. But it went so smoothly. And then we ended up coming back, right? And I'm going through the hallways again where I'm like, we're cruising, right? We're cruising again. And I look, and the lady that was dead is now resurrecting. And I literally say in the dream, we just came full circle. So you might have been in this storm now for a little bit. It looked crazy. It looked like you were losing some things. It looked like you took some losses. It looked like things were stirred up for a little bit. It looked like you couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel. You couldn't, it was really just a blur, right? All these crazy things are happening. But the Lord was steering it the whole time. God was in control of it the entire time. And now you are rolling back around into your full circle moment where you are going to see things that looked dead being resurrected. This summer will be different. Happy place. Happy days. This is the good news. Look again. You are rolling into this full circle moment. There is no need to be distressed. So I know things have looked a little crazy. Things have been looking like you've been lacking. You've experienced some losses and stuff, right? Things just aren't looking how God had said they were going to look, right? So you might feel distressed right now, be in a place of being distressed. But he said you are about to be flourishing. You're about to be in a happy place, right? Be eager with excitement, not anxiousness. You have nothing to be anxious for. It was just a little bit of a detour, right? You might have fallen off. You might have stepped ahead of God, right? But he is so gracious and forgiving, right? That he is still bringing you back around. You might have had to take a different route to get there. You might have had to go through this storm, right? But you are about to be fed in those areas that you have been starving, right? You've went some time without certain things, but he's saying, just like the men on the ship, he is about to feed you. You are about to be flourishing in those areas that have looked dead, that you have been starving in, right? You are taking possession of the land, reaping a huge, long-awaited harvest. Right? If this is your spouse, he says they have been baptized and cleansed as I showed you they would be. Now, regardless of what it is, he says you are to stay in a consecrated, sanctified state as I told you, and now you know why it's crucial and important to do so. Everything that I've explained, your obedience for your blessings, it is crucial. Your heart posture in this time to stay consecrated and sanctified as God has said, because now you know why it's crucial and important to do so. You cannot wander aimlessly, acting out of your own will and flesh, because you see now what happens when you do that, right? You throw yourself into a storm. And God might not always bring this opportunity back around, right? He was gracious to cycle you through the wilderness again and pull you out of it, right? And pull you out of it and pull you into this full circle moment. But he says, you will miss everything and forfeit your own blessings if you wander aimlessly and act out of your own will and flesh. You will miss everything and forfeit your own blessings. He says, continue to wash and cleanse yourself daily. Continue to wash and cleanse and purify yourself daily. Your heart, right? It's and doing what is right, because again, they're mirroring you. If it's like I said, if it's a masturbation thing, if that's a sin that you struggle with, you cannot. And here's the thing. I had struggled with it, right, for a long time. And I always wondered, like, I would see, and I almost wondered, like, if it was okay to do. And people were just like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And it was like one of those things, because the Lord wouldn't deliver me from it. Like, it took a long time for him to deliver me from it. I don't know why. I would look around and be like, I see these testimonies and people talking about God delivered me from this and God delivered. And I'm like, why is he not delivering it from me? Then I had a dream that I was in a bathtub, literally doing that. And he was showing me, I'm cleansing you from it now. I am delivering you from this now. And ever since, I have not had no urge, it's gone. It's delivered. And it's because of what he is doing in this time. So it's so important to not go back to it, because the moment, if I were to do that right now, I would screw up everything that he has done. All of the cleansing in my marriage to come, right? The cleansing he's done in that, I would open that door back up and I would have to start all over again. There's no way I'm going back. Like, not a chance. So continue to wash and cleanse yourself daily. My favor is upon you, and everyone will soon see so. Just like going back to Deuteronomy 28, it will be the nations and all of the people will know that God has been with you and God is with you. They will see his favor and glory shining all over you. There's going to be a division, just like Jesus would say. You're going to be able to see the people of God versus the people who were disobedient and that the Lord, his judgments on. You will be able to see and distinguish where the Lord's favor and glory is versus where it is not. You don't want to be on that side, y'all. Everyone will soon see so. Stay off of the wheel of old repetition. I had this dream like a few years ago. It was a black and white 2-story house. It looked like one of those little haunted houses, you know, like that the white house is out in the middle of nowhere. That's what it looked like. And the whole front of the house was missing, and it was just this big like Ferris wheel looking thing. And me and my spouse were on it, and it was just going around and around and around and around. And it was darkness. And it was black and white too, though. That's like darkness and you know, good and evil, right? But he's saying, stay off of the wheel of old repetition, old repetitive, empty, vain thoughts, words, actions, etc. Maybe you've had these thoughts and these words that you have spoken, like, I don't want to, even my video the other day, for example, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was complaining a lot and I was in my feelings and stuff. That's considered an old, repetitive, empty, vain thoughts and words and actions. That is literally, he says, they serve no purpose for where I am taking and placing you. The doubt, the hopelessness, the speaking word curses over your own stuff, like talk about my spouse is da 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 da, and they do this and they do that, and I'm not doing this and all that. It will, let's go back. He says, you cannot wander aimlessly, acting out of your own will and flesh. You will miss everything and forfeit your own blessings. They serve no purpose for where I am taking and placing you. The time is here. It is now. Full circle moment. Look again. That's the word. This was very long, but this had to be, when I got this revelation and all this on the phone with my friend, I was like, oh Lord, I gotta post a video while this is like fresh on my mind. I'm just like, yeah, it's coming. And that's why he has given us time, and he's been so repetitive over it over and over again, because this new era is coming. And you need to be ready. Don't be the foolish, be the wise, and be ready for when it happens, because it's happening any moment now when you least expect it. That knock will be at the door, and you were either ready or you weren't. You were either on the blessed side or the disobedient side. And I don't know what's going to happen on that side, but the Lord knows, and he has been very gracious with us and given us more than enough time, right? So I pray this gets to who it needs to get to. I pray it blesses you. I pray that you take heed to this message, these warnings, these instructions. Your heart, y'all. It's the heart. It's the heart. It's the heart. Okay. If y'all feel led to sow into this, as always, my information will be there in the description box. Hashtag new era. New era. Blessings for your obedience. I pray God blesses y'all in return for any seeds or blessings that y'all sow into this. And I pray y'all have a blessed rest of your day. And I will see y'all in my next video, whenever that may be, y'all. Okay, bye.